Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 323. It is Wednesday. Here in Cincinnati, it's really cold. There's still a little bit of snow and slush on the ground, and it's really gray. Today, it feels winter, very winter. We're moving towards the winter solstice this weekend, and it just feels like we're in those shorter days and longer nights and colder temperatures. So today's Wednesday. It is my last day of work for a while. It's so funny too, because when I say that, I think of how most people define work, and there's usually like a scowl or a frustrated look on their face, like I'm done with work. For me, it's like, oh, I love my work. I love what I do. And also, I feel really excited to have some spaciousness in my schedule to read books, lay around. I was like, lay around what? Lay around and nap? Lay around, listen to music? Cuddle with my husband? Hang out and laugh with my children and my friends? I mean, there's just some sweet time that is coming that is just for filling myself back up. And so what does that mean for the podcast? I've really been sitting with it a little bit and trying to feel into what feels good for next year for starting back up. And I don't really have a clear answer yet. I have a sense over the break. I don't want to use the word break because I don't like that word. Over my vacation time, I feel like I'll have more clarity on what the podcast looks like for next year. I am planning on focusing on Just White Light, the book, in January, and that may mean, doing fewer podcasts per week, or I don't know. I really don't have that figured out. It feels like I'm going to take 2 weeks off with my family and then 1 week off just to ease back into the year and get myself organized and create all the content I need for my website. And so I don't see that the podcast will start back up until maybe the 15th or so. But I'm not committing. I'm not committing to any dates yet until I have some quiet time, and then I will listen and I will trust whatever feels true, and then I'll pop back in here. You'll figure it out when I figure it out, because I'll be back. Yeah, so when I was reflecting about that, I was remembering what I wrote in my newsletter at the beginning of this month, which yet has to be posted on my website. My intention is to do it today before I shut down my work. And also, I don't know. We'll see. I have a really long list after this podcast. We'll see how far I get. My intention is to post the blog article and then share it on social media. It is a channeled message from my soul about time and how time is changing form or dissolving in the ways that we have known it. And I get a sense that means our focus is going to be on being fully present, not analyzing the past or projecting into the future, but just being right in the moment of what is being experienced. And for many of us, that's a really difficult transition to make. We are way more used to being anywhere except in the moment. And this shift is going to really cause some ripples and bumps for lots of people. So when I wrote the article, I could sense what was coming. And as we have moved through these last couple weeks and I can feel 2020 even closer, it feels even more powerful. So if you haven't received my email because you're not on my newsletter list, then you'll have to wait and check my website and check social media. I will post that as soon as possible. Or you could just sign up to get my newsletter, and then you would be the first to receive it, and you would have already had it 2 weeks ago. Shameless plug to get into my newsletter group, because that's where all the fun news comes out first, and next year is going to be filled with fun news. So you're going to miss it if you don't get into that amazing little crew of people. But back to the article. In the article, I talk about 2019 and what I feel completing for us. And then I describe what I sense arriving in 2020. And the way that vibration came through when I was writing it was so good and so blissful. So blissful. And the words that I used were really precise and accurate. So yeah, read the article and you can receive that information, that energy in the words that I share. What I am doing as we move through the transition from 2019 to 2020, I am hosting 2 separate meditation energy calls. I don't know, what do you want to call those things that I do? I'll tell you what it is I do. I meditate, I get really still, and then I open up a container through my phone line for those who want to step into that space. And then I tune right into Source and my soul, and I stream consciousness, I stream love. And the words that come through are completely in the moment. They are so present and so filled with the power of now. I can't predict them. I can't try to plan what I'm going to talk about. I literally show up and this beautiful flow of energy comes through. So I do that every Sunday on my meditation calls. But at the end of the year, I have 2 very specific calls. One is to wrap up the year that is ending. And then the one in the first of the year is to open up a viewfinder, to tune into and sense what is possible individually. So I hold a collective space, but the call that I do is for you to have your own individual experience. And so you have the opportunity to see what is most possible, highest possible potential for you. They are really powerful spaces because it's not me that's doing it. It is source energy moving through me. And it's in the moment, which is where the greatest creations arrive. So I am hosting those 2 calls. One is called Completing 2019. It will be on Monday, I think that's the 29th, the 30th of December, the 30th. And then the other one is going to be on that Friday. I believe that's January 3rd, 2020. And it's called Greeting 2020, which, the titles just really delight me because those words, completing and greeting, just sum up what I feel. So I highly suggest to everyone everyone we know, everyone on the planet pauses as we move through this transition from one year to the next, from one decade to the next. I believe it's essential for all of us to take that time to do so. And if the spaces I hold call to you, I encourage you to sign up and to put that on your calendar. You can join me live, or you can listen to the recording at any time. You can also join us live, and then you can listen to the recording, and you can do it again, and you can do it again, and you can do it again. And you will receive new images and new information and more clearing every time you do it, because that's the way this energy flows in the spaces I hold. So, yeah, there you go. They're on my website, My Soul Journey, under events, and you can read all about that. So all this focus on time, when I was feeling into the content, what would I want to talk about or focus on for this last podcast of the year? I had all these titles move through. I'm like, that, no, that. And then I don't even know. I think I was in the shower. I just had this awareness of the last song that my son played before he got out of the car today when I drove him to school, and how much I love the song. And the title of the song is It's Only Time. It's by the Magnetic Fields. This is one of my son's favorite songs, and when he played it for me, it's become one of my favorites also. So I'm going to read the lyrics to you, and then we'll tune into why that felt relevant for this moment. I'll put a link to the song in the description. It's hauntingly beautiful. If you haven't heard it before, please take a few minutes after you listen to the podcast, or pause it and listen to it now and come back to the podcast. The song is so sweet. It's so pure, and it's expressing vibration through these words. So I encourage you to listen to it. All right, I'm going to read it the whole way through. I don't know the story about why he was writing it. I don't know if it's like a marriage proposal, or I'm not sure. But I feel it in connection to this earth, Gaia, to humanity, to source. I feel it on a very big cosmic level, not so much an individual human to human level when I hear these words. And then you'll have your own interpretation. Okay. It's only time, the magnetic fields. Why would I stop loving you 100 years from now? It's only time. It's only time. What could stop this beating heart once it's made a vow? It's only time. It's only time. If rain won't change your mind, let it fall. The rain won't change my heart at all. Lock this chain around my hand, throw away the key. It's only time. It's only time. Years falling like grains of sand mean nothing to me. It's only time. Let it fall. The snow won't change my heart, not at all. I'll walk your lands and swim your sea. Marry me. Then in your hands I will be free. Marry me. Why would I stop loving you 100 years from now? When I tune into the energy of what I feel as we move from 2019 into 2020, there's a smoothing out that I sense of all the bumpiness that time has played in our stories, all the ways we hold on to the past and try to prepare for and control the future. And what I sense when I listen to the words and when I listen to that song playing is everything just becomes smoother and gentler and more harmonious. There was a great article that Astro Mama just posted this week, and I'm not going to try to say what was going with what, but something is happening connected to Capricorn that only happens once every 33 to 37 years. I should have researched it, but I didn't know I was going to talk about it, so I'll just give you what I remember. She described how the last time this astrological shift happened, 33 to 37 years ago, the state collectively in humanity of family dynamics really started to shift, and divorce became more common. The feminine started to rise, and the patriarchy started to begin a separation or a crumble. And that put more women in the workforce and more children at home without, the mother. I mean, there were all these dynamics of family relationships that started to shift. And she has a really beautiful writing about it on Facebook. And she said, now we're about to step into the next shift with the planets in the same vibration, and it's connected to Capricorn. And she said, this is very much about Earth. It's about the Earth's plates, the geological plates shifting. It's about I'm not going to even try to describe it. Her description was perfect. So well articulated. When that shift happened 37 years ago, I moved with my family from South Africa to the United States. And the way I knew my life completely shifted. It was a seismic shift in my world to landing here in the United States and beginning this other whole phase of my life's journey. I can sense that that is exactly where we are right now. And for myself, what that means for 2020, if it's a seismic shift in my world, that was a transformation of who I was to who I started to become in every way possible. My clothing, my accent, my language, my words, my relationships, the way I saw myself, the way I saw the world, everything shifted. And if that is what we are moving towards in this next year, I can only begin to imagine what is possible. With all that I know, all that I've remembered about who I am, not just in this physical body, but who I am at a soul level. If there is a dissolving of time and a moving into something that is smoother, softer, wider, more expansive, every cell in my body is melting with joy at what is arriving and what is possible. Because the hard stuff's done for me. The really painful lessons and all the stuff, that part's over now. And what's arriving is my ability to focus more and more on pleasure, on delighting in this journey, on dissolving the places that stick and bump and smoothing it out so that it's all good. I've been saying that for years. It's all good. It's so good. I don't know how many times I say that in a day, in a week, and I feel it. I am creating that in my reality, and the only shift for me to make at this point is to release any resistance, to dissolve any places that are left in my mind, body, spirit that are not yet allowing life to be that good. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be cocooning in with my family and doing that here by receiving, opening my heart, playing, laughing, delighting in this journey that I'm in. And then bringing all of that expansive version of myself forward into 2020. So when I come back to work, to this work that I love, I just can't even imagine what is arriving next and how good it's going to become. There was a great Esther video that I was listening to yesterday or a couple days ago. I sent it to my friends. I'm like, oh my God, this is me. This is my life right now. This woman was in the hot seat and she was asking Esther or Abraham. She said, I want to allow my dream job to arrive, but I feel like I don't want my family to suffer. And if I step into this dream job, they're just really going to not be able to handle it. And Esther says, the only reason they can't handle it is because you've spoiled them. I was like, oh my God, damn it. She's so right. She's so right. I can feel that within myself. I love so big and I delight in my relationships, and so I just flow all this love out all the time, and it feels really good to me and it feels really good to the people around me. And also, like, I'm already living my dream job and there's another level of what's opening, and as that dream job I live expands, it's going to require some shifting in the relationships around me and where my time goes. Even as we dissolve time, as I figure it out, as I discern my own priorities, the needs of what is happening with humanity, with Earth, with Source, as I continue channeling and flowing love in the way that I do, the messages that are going to come through are important. And honoring how those come through and allowing more and more space for that level of work is going to be important. So I don't have to have it all figured out in this moment. I don't have to have a plan of what it looks like. I I just need to tune to the vibration of how good it feels already and how much better it's just going to keep getting. And then lean back and allow myself to receive more. So it's only time. It's only time. As we wrap up this 2019 podcast space together, I say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you from my very full, overflowing heart. Thank you for tuning in with me, for sharing your reflections, for sharing the ways these messages touch you, for sharing the messages with those you love. Everything is vibration, and when we continuously tune to the vibration of love and allow it to expand and become bigger and bigger, it serves everyone. Love is, I read this last night to my energy gym friends, love is the universal language. It is the language everyone of every age, of every nationality, of every star species understands. And so we expand love in this podcast space of Gaia's Love. So thank you for showing up here with me. All right. I send you off into the rest of 2019, and I greet 2020 with you with such love and appreciation. Thank you for tuning in to this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me on Sunday mornings for an hour of meditation, visualization, and energy healing, where we realign our mind, body, spirit with Gaia and Source. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.